Football fans, thanks for hanging with us. You're watching FanDuel Sportsbook's More Ways to Win. I'm Lisa Kerney, live in our Los Angeles studio alongside the best sports betting and analytics experts in the business. We've got Dave Weaver, we've got Ed Egros, and we've got you guys. We're ready to roll. Check done. It's week 18, the last week of the regular season. I can't believe I'm saying that. 11 playoff spots clinched, 3 still up in the air, and a bunch of teams still very much jockeying for playoff seeding here. There are a ton of matchups with playoff implications, and you know we're betting them. Dave, Ed, and the rest of our experts are breaking down the biggest games of the week, handing out best bets. Of course, we have our best value DFS plays as well. It is go time, so make sure you download the FanDuel Sportsbook app, sign up for your new account, plug in the promo code MOREWAYS1000. You're going to get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. All right, time to kick this thing off with a huge AFC West matchup in Las Vegas. We got the Chargers on the road at the Raiders, flexed into the Sunday Night Football slot. Here we go. Both teams 9-7. The winner of this one makes the playoffs. The loser season is essentially over. The only win or go home matchup on the schedule right now. LA ended a 2-game skid with a big 34-13 win against the Broncos last week. The Raiders have been hot, winning 3 in a row, including a 23-20 victory at Indianapolis last week. Now, despite that, Las Vegas is a 3-point home underdog in this matchup. Dave and Ed, stakes couldn't be higher for these two teams here. And Dave, I'm going to start with you. Who are you backing in this matchup?
I'm going with the Chargers. I'm a big Justin Herbert guy, and he's played the Raiders 3 times in his young career. He's 3-0, 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I mean, he's just been absolutely perfect against the Raiders. They've won twice against the Raiders in prime time, like this game is going to be. And they've also been pretty good on the road. They beat the Chiefs on the road. They beat the Bengals on the road. We're talking about division leaders. I think they could go into Las Vegas and win this game. I know you've been very high on Derek Carr throughout the year, but I'm believing in Justin Herbert in this one.
The problem with Justin Herbert in this situation is that he does throw into tight windows a lot. And I think that matters in this game because the Raiders do have a good secondary that can make Justin Herbert pay if he has a bad game. Justin Herbert's passer rating when he's throwing into tight windows is in the 40s. That's not very good, folks. Meanwhile, you got Max Crosby and company who can affect Justin Herbert's decision-making. And as Dave so eloquently put it, I am the president of the Derek Carr fan club. I do believe that the Raiders can keep this game close, so I'm going to take the points here.
I love it. Let's break this tie here. The road team, by the way, 10-4 against the spread in the last 14 meetings between these two teams. Something to keep in mind there as we turn now to Cole Wright for our right take here. Cole joining us from Chicago. And Cole, you heard the guys' picks here. Which side are you on? Who's winning and by how many points?
Well, I'll tell you what, nothing better than being the tiebreaker, and nothing gets those competitive juices flowing, of course, like a win and you're in game. Now, when it comes to the final game of the regular season on Sunday Night Football, it doesn't get a whole bunch better than this. And it's also been well documented how I feel about those Los Angeles Chargers. They've only won back-to-back games once since week 5. And one of those games, of course, it was versus those Raiders. But when you take a look at the silver and black, what have they been able to do? Well, they've won 4 of their last 6. And Derek Carr continues to get things done, especially when it matters. They're 6th right now when it comes to overall passing offense. And they're going to need DC to limit some of those mistakes. We saw them with 2 picks last week in that 3-point win over the Colts. And if they can do that, then they can go out there and they can pretty much pack those West Coast Dolphins in the bags. I see the Raiders getting the win in this one, 24-20 game.
Ooh, all that plus money, plus 138 right now. If you roll with the Raiders getting the points there, you go with the spread at home. A winning $50 bet means you're going to collect more than $93. Again, it's the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Remember that promo code, folks. Now to the NFC West and another matchup with huge playoff implications here. We got the 9-7 49ers at the 12-4 Rams. Here's what's on the line in this one. San Francisco wins, and they clinch a postseason spot. The Rams win. They clinch the division for the 2nd year in a row. Rookie quarterback Trey Lance started for the 49ers last week, leading them to a 23-7 win over the Texans. Head coach Kyle Shanahan did say Jimmy Garoppolo will be the starter this week if his thumb is healed in time and ready to go. As for the Rams, they've won 5 in a row. Running back Sony Michel averaging about 22 carries in those games, compared to just about 7 carries per game before this streak. The Rams are giving 4 in this matchup. Got to get Pony in here. Pony, does Los Angeles keep rolling and cover this number?
No, because I don't trust the quarterback anymore. Matthew Stafford, it takes a big man to admit when you're wrong, and he was my preseason MVP choice. I want to take that back because there's a fine line, Lisa, between aggressiveness and recklessness. And I believe Matthew Stafford has crossed that Rubicon. The only quarterback with more interceptions this year, Dave, is Trevor Lawrence. I think the hungrier team is going to win this game. Plus 180 on the money line. I like the 49ers.
Well, those midseason acquisitions at least are kicking in. OBJ, 5 touchdowns in the last 6 games. Von Miller had 8 blitzes last week, 2 sacks, and a quarterback knockdown. So these guys are starting to play well. That being said, I think San Francisco will be able to keep this game close. Keep in mind, they played in week number 10. San Fran was 3-5 at that point. And this is the win that kind of launched them into a spot to get into the playoffs if they win here. San Francisco won that game by 21 points. I think it's going to go under. The Rams' last 4 home games have all gone under. I see a low-scoring game, field goal one way or the other. But because I'm getting 4 points, I'm taking the Niners. I'm with you.
Okay, there we go. Clean sweep. Let's go a bit deeper on this 49ers and Rams matchup. Here's the next-gen stats. You know my favorite, to get an analytical perspective on this game. We know the NFL analyzes the location, speed, and acceleration of every player on every play, then creates these various data sets that we here at More Ways to Win get to tap into, which means this guy gets to tap into it. He gets all excited and crazy. Our analytics guy, Ed, turn it to you. Give us a next-gen stat that you're using to help us bet this San Francisco-Los Angeles game.
Certainly the quarterback questions with San Francisco. That's the reason why I think the Rams are 40-point favorites in this spot here. But to me, that doesn't matter that much. And yeah, it's a quarterback position. But to me, it's the run blocking and specifically the acceleration of Elijah Mitchell, which is why I think this contest stays close. Here is his carry chart from Week 17. 31 rushing yards over expected. One of the better marks of the weekend, even though we ran into a stack box with 8 or more defenders more than half the time. Houston didn't respect the deep passing game. Made sense to me, but Mitchell was still able to get chunk plays shown by the green lines. He did that by running to the outside more than 3/4 of the time, stretching the field horizontally. The 49ers may have the play design advantage, and because this is a divisional game, I think 4 points is too much. I'm going to take the points.
Okay, there we go. Awesome info from Ed. We're going to see Ed here again in just a little bit with more next-gen stats. Those help to make his pick on this game, but you can take those. Tail Ed if you want to, or you do you. You can take the Rams giving the points here, because a winning $50 bet means you're going to collect more than $95. And a reminder, you can make your first bet on the app risk-free. Just sign up for a new FanDuel Sportsbook account using the promo code MOREWAYS1000. You're going to get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. Again, that promo code MOREWAYS1000. Time now for our final regular season DFS download of the season. You know by now that, of course, that means a chance to win millions in prizes for free every week. FanDuel hooks it up for you for free. Just head to FanDuel.com, sign up for the weekly free DFS contest. Get your friends, your family, your coworkers. Hit me up in my DMs. I don't know. Compete each week for free. Just sign up, set your roster, play, and win. Of course, our job here on More Ways to Win is to help you score points. So we turn to senior writer and editor for Number Fire, Jim Sonis. And got to give Jim a shout out, by the way, for the second week in a row here. He had Chiefs running back Darrell Williams as his best value play last week. Williams had 107 total yards and 2 touchdowns. So, Jim, coming right back to you for your best value plays for Week 18.
Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, we're talking here on Thursday of Week 18, which means things will definitely change before Sunday, but still some good values on the board as we're talking here right now. The first one to me is Christian Kirk at $6,200 to the Arizona Cardinals. He has a 24% target share in 3 games post DeAndre Hopkins. The Cardinals want to win this game to lock down the NFC West. They still got a chance to do so if the Rams were to lose, so I think that they'll be playing all out. That bodes well for Kirk, who's had a really good role recently. Same thing is true for Devin Singletary at $6,700 for the Buffalo Bills. He has emerged as the clear lead back over the past 4 games. He has yardage upside. He's scoring some touchdowns. $6,700 versus the New York Jets. I will take that every time. I also like Deante Foreman. Now, Foreman's floor is not as good because he's in a 3-back committee for the Titans, but we did see last week the Titans committed more to Foreman, playing him at a 62% snap rate. He's had 130 yards in scrimmage twice in the past 4 games, facing the Houston Texans in a spot where the Titans want to win to lock down the 1 seed. So to me, Foreman does stand out. Derrick Henry back at practice this week, but not expected to play just yet. So I think these 3 values, although things will change prior to Sunday, are ones we can count on for Week 18.
I trust in Jim Sonis. All right, there you have it. Thank you, Jim. Go to FanDuel.com, sign up for free DFS competitions right now. Of course, each week of the NFL season. Use Jim's information for a chance to win millions in prizes. Follow him at Jim Saunas on Twitter and Insta. Hit up his podcast as well, the Heat Check Fantasy Podcast on Apple Podcasts. Let's get back to our game previews now, and for that, we head to the AFC South. The 11-5 Titans traveling to Houston to take on the 4-12 Texans. This is a big one for Tennessee here. They clinched the #1 seed with a win. Of course, this year, only one team is getting that first-round bye, something to keep in mind here. The Texans started the season 2-11, but haven't quit. They've actually won 2 of their last 3 games. But Houston is still a double-digit home underdog, getting 10 points here. Ed, this one's for you. Which side do you like in this one?
So here's my process here. It's a little convoluted, but bear with me here. It made sense in my head before, coming on. So when I ran my model here, it was roughly like 9.9. So the number is really, really sharp. But here's the process I'm using. A lot of people talk about motivation. Well, one team wants to make the playoffs and get the 1 seed. The other team, they're already thinking about next season, whatever. Well, if you look at last season, in those games where one team was vying for playoff contention or playoff seeding, whatever, and the other team was already out of it, well, if you combine those spreads and the overall results, the market overrates motivation by roughly 2 points. Now, I took one outlier out of last season because the Ravens do things differently and they blew them out. And so you take that outlier out, the market overrates motivation by roughly 2 points. And so the fact that I'm already at 10 in terms of my model, and I feel like that motivation is one of those things that really doesn't matter that much, I'm going to back the Texans in this spot. I'm not seeing Tennessee doing anything crazy here in terms of like losing the game outright, but I do think that the Texans, given how well they've been playing as of late and the fact they have a lot of guys who want to prove their worth for next season, I can see them coming out and playing well, and so I think the Texans can keep it a little bit closer.
We've went the last month, me telling you how much I hate Tennessee and, I keep betting against them. And now you're picking the wrong side. Tennessee is the right side here. Tennessee is 4-0 against the spread the last 4 games where they have scored 30 points. They scored 34 last week against Miami. When they start to roll, they are extremely tough. And Houston, when they kind of fall into that little funk, they get bad. They're 1-4 against the spread the last 5 games that they've lost by 2 touchdowns or more. They got beat 16 last week. So I think that the momentum clearly here is with Tennessee. You already pointed out they do need to win this game to get the 1 seed, which I never thought would be the case about a month ago. So kudos to Ed, at least for that, even though he picked the wrong team here.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, you guys, let's get to New York because this one is for you. Our FanDuel Sportsbook Week 18 breakdown for your Jets. And shout out, of course, to all of you watching with us on MSG. Love having you with us. We got 4-12 Jets traveling to 10-6 Buffalo. Jets, hey, applaud your guys coming off a very strong performance, up 14 points in the second half to Tom Brady and the Bucs before giving up 18 straight, taking the loss last week. But riding in high, right? Meanwhile, the Bills have won 3 in a row and can clinch a division title with a win on Sunday. Jets are getting 16.5 points in this matchup. Pony, it's the biggest number of the week. Not a shocker here. Which side do you like?
Well, it's too big for this reason. Scoreboard watching all week. What are the Bills playing for? They play at 4:25 Eastern. If the Titans have locked up the 1 seed, okay, and the Chiefs have taken care of business against the Broncos, the Bengals are already resting players against the Browns. I mean, I just don't see the Bills going all out for 60 minutes. They'll win, Cole, but I don't know if they're going to put all their eggs in the let's blow out the Jets basket.
Yeah, and Pony, I love Lisa congratulating the Jets on their loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but no disrespect to Zach Wilson, but 8 touchdowns and 11 interceptions on the year. Plain and simple, it's not going to get it done. Now, it's not all his fault. This we know, but we're not here to play the name game because there's a whole lot of things going on in East Rutherford. Now, the last time these 2 teams met, Buffalo, a 28-point blowout, and then after that, the Bills, they dropped 3 of their last 4. That's before this current 3-game winning streak. And over said streak, well, Josh Allen and the gang, they're averaging 31 points per game. And the Jets, well, a little birdie told me that they've allowed 30-plus points 7 times this year. So what are you going to do? You're going to load up on the Buffalo Bills here, 35-17. They make it look easy.
It's a big number right there. All right, you guys. Now to the 9-7 Colts, who are in Jacksonville to take on the 2-14 Jags. Colts clinch a playoff spot with a win here, and it is no secret Indy will rely on running back Jonathan Taylor, who leads the league in rushing, has had 4 straight 100-yard games. Really tough matchup for the Jags, who average more than 127 rushing yards allowed. It is 8th most in the league. The Colts 9-0 when Taylor rushes for 100 yards or more, 0-6 when he's held to less than 100 yards. The Colts go as Taylor goes, guys. Colts 15.5-point road favorites here. Dave, which side are you backing?
Well, you could use the same logic that Pony just had for that big spread with the Jets and the Bills and say, look, the Colts can win this game, but they don't have to win by that much. But there's more to it. They haven't won in Jacksonville since 2014. Not only are they not winning there, 7-point favorite, lose by 7. 5-point favorite, lose by 18. Like, they're getting crushed. So could they win this game? Absolutely. In the history of the franchise, Pony, they've been favored by more than 2 touchdowns 5 times. They've never covered. One of those was last week of last season when they were favored, just like this, by 15.5 against Jacksonville. They won by 2 touchdowns. So I think that this is way too big of a number.
Yeah, it's been a house of horrors for the Colts. I think they'll win because of the Lisa stats she brought up on Jonathan Taylor. But the line again, okay, we're talking about a Jacksonville team that when they were the biggest underdog in the NFL this year, they beat the Bills outright, 9-6 in Jacksonville. They went to Indy earlier this year, and they had the ball in midfield in the 4th quarter with a chance to win. I think they'll play a highly competitive game. A lot of nerves. Carson Wentz has not looked good of late. I think this comes down to the wire. Colts win, but they don't cover.
All right, thanks, you guys. Ed, we got to come back to you. And I teased it earlier in the show. Here he is. We're getting back to these next-gen stats. He helped us pick the Niners-Rams game earlier in the show. Now I want you to give us 3 bets based on that next-level data from next-gen stats that really are good value on the FanDuel Sportsbook right now.
So it's possible the Patriots can still win the division, obviously need a little bit of help, but one thing they have to do is beat Miami. They're 6.5-point favorites there. Almost full, like I said, 6.5-point favorites. Quarterback Mac Jones, quarterback grid for the season. And you aren't getting a lot of mobility out of the rookie gunslinger, but if you focus solely on straight drop passes, he's one of the better performers in the NFL. Completion percentage over expected is positive 2%. That's 6th best. Average depth of target, a healthy 8.1 yards. EPA per dropback, 0.03. Not great, but it's improved over time. And he's not attracting pressure. He has a defender within 2 yards of him less than a quarter of the time. That says he's been playing pretty well as of late. New England has made a lot of strides since week 1. I'm not sure you can say the same thing about Miami. Despite the lengthy winning streak that they just enjoyed, I've got the Pats covering in that one. Next, historically speaking, the Ravens always play hard, whether it's the preseason or playoff fate having already been decided. Assuming Mark Andrews plays, he will be a threat. Here's his route chart from last week's loss versus the Rams. His completion rate over expected was 24.4%. That's solid for a tight end. His average route depth was more than 10 yards, so he's probably moving the chains when completing the catch. Yards after catch over expected was only 3 yards, but tight ends aren't normally known for their yak. Still some room for improvement for Andrews, but no matter the quarterback, he's a playmaker, and the Ravens should cover. Finally, coaching involves highlighting the strengths of your players, and Sean Payton has done just that with backup quarterback Taysom Hill. Here's his pass chart and his win against the Panthers. Specifically, here's where his expected points added numbers were serviceable. On quick throws, 2.5 seconds or fewer from the time of the snap, EPA is 3.7. Play action, which should help any gunslinger. Hill's EPA was 3.6. When throwing to receivers running out breaking routes, 6.0. That's really good. Finally, the most consistent metric, EPA when not pressured, 7.1. That's, to me, a sign that Hill does have some limitations, but he is not a bum. The Saints can cover and potentially make the playoffs.
There you have it. And a lot of uncertainty with that quarterback position this season. So I'm sure Saints fans would like to hear that from you. Right. Awesome stuff. Thank you, Ed. Now you can take that information to place your bets on the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. Place a wager on the bets we just talked about, ones Ed highlighted right there, or hundreds of others. They're all available for you right now. It's the FanDuel Sportsbook app. All right, team, time to focus on our betting markets here with some game previews, and we are shouting out your local teams as we rip through more of this Week 18 slate. I want to give a special shout out for our viewers in Chicago watching with us on NBC Sports Chicago. We're breaking down your Bears Week 18 matchup here, sitting at 6-9. The Bears ending their season taking on a division rival, the 7-9 Vikings. Bears running back David Montgomery playing well, including 3 touchdowns during the Bears' current 2-game winning streak. In fact, the Bears 4-1 this season when he has at least 20 carries. Chicago is getting 3.5 points on the road here. Cole, Wright, got to get you in here. And we did have an announcement that Kirk Cousins will be starting for Minnesota. So keep that in mind as you now help us pick this game.
Well, at least I'm not going to lie. I did have the under when it came to the Bears season total for wins at 5.5. But either way, back-to-back W's versus Seattle and the Giants, and this defensive unit right now for Sean Desai, well, they're starting to play like a well-oiled machine, so it's better late than never. Robert Quinn, he's now the Bears' all-time sack master, and with guys like Travis Gibson coming off of career games, well, I see that defensive momentum carrying over versus Minnesota. 5th-ranked defense versus a middle-of-the-road offense. You can bear down in this one, 23-17.
No banana in the tailpipe reference about the Bears this week.
No,
okay, Cole,
no.
but I'm with you. I think Chicago wins this game, and then you can start the hype train that 2022 is going to be the year for the Bears. Look, Thielen is out. We know that. Cousins is playing, but Thielen's out. With him out, Chicago can just isolate on Justin Jefferson, make Kirk Cousins beat them with somebody else, which he hasn't really had an easy time doing much this year when they've been missing Thielen. So, the Bears.
And here we go with our FanDuel Sportsbook Week 18 preview for the 6-10 Washington football team at the 4-12 Giants. And you know I got to give a special shout out to our viewers in Virginia watching with us on NBC Sports Washington, and those of you in New York as well hanging with us on MSG. Love having you with us here as we wrap up the season. We got a tough second half of the season for both teams. I know you all are well aware of that. Combined, they've lost 9 games in a row. But one team has a chance to end this season with a win and make those fans happy. Washington, a road favorite in this one, giving 7 points. Pony, pride is on the line here. It means something. Which side do you like?
Well, you see that number all the way to the bottom of the screen, and that's that 38. That is the lowest over-under total in the NFL this week. So that's why this line seems high to me. I know the Giants' offense has been anemic ever since Daniel Jones went down. But when you have 2 teams that are struggling as mightily as both of these clubs, I don't see the point in making one a huge favorite. So in a miserable matchup, Ed, I'm going to take the team that's getting a touchdown, the Giants.
It's a game so easy to bet on, even Pony can do it. You're absolutely right. 7 points is way too much here. Look at the previous meeting between these two. It was really close. Washington won by 1 point at home. Now you're going from Daniel Jones to Jake Fromm at quarterback for the Giants, and you're going from, say, like 1 point to 7. That's way too big a movement for a line here. This is not that big of a drop-off in terms of overall quarterback talent for the G-men. To me, the line is way too big. I'd probably take the under in this one as well, but yeah, I'm back in the Giants here.
And those of you near the Meadowlands know this. Giants are home for the last week of the regular season, which means the party this weekend is going down in New Jersey, and the FanDuel Sportsbook at the Meadowlands is the place to be. The FanDuel Sportsbook, it's open 7 days a week. We're going to take you inside right here as you take a look at all the cool nuances of this building. It's very cool. Got to get you. You can bet your favorite teams, your favorite players. The Sportsbook, again, located right across the parking lot from MetLife Stadium. So easy to get to. On game day, just hop that free round-trip shuttle from Lot G. Don't have a parking pass? That's all good, too. Head to Red's Restaurant in Carlstadt, New Jersey. Catch that $10 shuttle to MetLife, and then head to Lot G for that free round-trip ride to the FanDuel Sportsbook. Mass transit, of course, available as well. Sunday's going to be hopping. Every day of the week, it is a party going down. Get your friends, come out for an awesome time at the Meadowlands and the FanDuel Sportsbook. Watch, wager, win, have fun with us. This is your formal invitation from me. All right, time now to get to some underdogs and give them a little love here, Cole, because this is your wheelhouse. You've crushed these moneyline moneymakers all season long. Last chance in the regular season here to drop some plus money on us. Which underdog is winning outright here in Week 18, Cole?
Well, you say underdog. That's because I'm only giving you one because the lines this week, they looked absolutely crazy. Now, Steeler fans are also going to be Jags fans this week. And as long as the Bolts-Raiders game doesn't end in a tie, when Big Ben and the Steelers finally take out the Baltimore Ravens, who have limped through the entire season, there's still a little bit of hope for one last Lombardi run for Big Ben and Coach T. It's only a shred of hope, but they're going to give themselves a chance. They've won 2 of their last 3, so I'm leaning Pittsburgh in this one, 27-24, Lisa.
I tell you what, I mean, Cole, we might love to hear this, but if you're a smart bettor, you are going to tail Cole. He is the smart guy on this show. No offense to the guys right next to me, but he has absolutely crushed it. I am telling you. Don't mind them clearing their throat. Totally respect, though, if you do your thing. Right now, you can place your bets risk-free up to $1,000 on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Just sign up for your new account, and for those of you new users, you will get a risk-free bet up to $1,000 just by using that promo code MOREWAYS1000. And, of course, it gets better on this show because our experts bet it for you. And Dave had made no qualms about me saying the smart guy on the show when I was talking about Cole. Dave, I'm coming to you. You hit your three-leg parlay, the under for the Bills, Falcons, the over for the Broncos, Chargers, and the Steelers on the money line. You were just waiting for me to give that fist bump, so there it is. Your $1,000 risk-free bet collected nearly $9,000. So we're going to start with you. Give us your Week 18 $1,000 risk-free bet. Dave, what you got?
You're welcome, America. Free $9,000 from FanDuel. We're going to do another three-team parlay. No totals here. All money line plays. I don't like Cole's pick there because I think the Steelers are absolutely done. They left it all on the field in Ben's last home game. I think the Ravens win. And I think the Packers have nothing to play for. They're going to rest everybody. I think the Lions win at home. And I think the Chargers get the job done. Not 9,000, but about half of that.
How about an alternate total over 47.5 for the Titans and Texans? You know, here's the thing. Houston is still trying to show off what its offense can do looking ahead to next season. So they're going to try in this game, and be careful with the Titans. That offense is starting to come together, starting to get healthier. Derrick Henry's status is an unknown here, so enough things could happen to where we could see a lot of points in this one. $1,000 risk-free bet for $2,600.
Yeah, I've got a themed parlay for 49ers fans. This is how they can get into the playoffs. They either beat the Rams or the Falcons do their dirty work and knock off the Saints. So I'm going to put those two things together, Lisa. You're going to collect over $7,000.
I love it. Give me that $7,000 pony. Hey, gamblers, make sure to sign up now for a FanDuel Sportsbook account to place your bets. Tail the guys. I'm telling you, that's where the money is. It's the good stuff. Remember, use that promo code MOREWAYS1000 to get your risk-free bet up to $1,000. It's easy. It's legal. It is live right now. Take your winnings if you hit. Just get your money back in site credit. If you don't, you get to do it all over again on us. You're welcome, America, to steal Dave's line. And it's the last week of the regular season here, so we have to get some Super Bowl predictions in from our guys. The Packers now the betting favorite here, but there are, of course, some other teams that are on the board that would really lead to a very big payout here. So, Dave, I'm coming right back to you. Give me your best value bet to win it all. Who's holding up that trophy?
Well, do I think the Rams can go into Lambeau and win a game when they're going to need to do that? Yes, I do. I think plus 950 on the Rams is a pretty good number.
I've got the Titans getting the 1 seed in the AFC, having to play one fewer game. And again, this offense is getting healthier. Plus 1,200, love that deal.
I believe the Bills are the most complete team in football right now. They're third in scoring offense, second in scoring defense, and Josh Allen's playing good football.
Well, I like Arizona plus 1,700. Huge win over Dallas on enemy turf. And Russell Wilson and the Seahawks, they're going to give them all they want to get them playoff ready. I'm going with Arizona.
Cole is hanging tough with Arizona. He has never wavered from that team. Great stuff, you guys. Game picks, best bets, DFS. You guys, we covered it all. Week 18 is here. You can bet it right now. Check it all out. All the bets we talked about. Tail our guys. It's the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Use that promo code MOREWAYS1000. Happy Week 18. We're wrapping up the regular season. Enjoy the games and good luck with your bets.